10 o'clock, we'll call this meeting of the Jefferson County Water Authority to order. Could I get a roll call, please?
Greg Camp,
Here.
Matt Unrein,
Here.
Kevin Dennis,
Here.
Terry Thomas,
Here.
Mark Johnson,
Here.
Jim Caston.
Very good. We have a quorum. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. We have minutes from our June 15th meeting and also from 7/17 of 2023.
Oh my. I'll make the motion to approve minutes.
We have a motion,
Second.
motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Approval of the bills, 485, 950 and 64 cents. Any questions on the bills?
No, sir.
Nope.
I'd entertain a motion.
Make a motion to, go ahead.
Go ahead, you Dave. I'll make a second.
I make a motion to approve the bills as presented.
Terry,
Second.
as a second. We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Greg Camp,
Aye.
Matt Unrein.
Aye.
Kevin Dennis,
Yes.
Terry Thomas.
Yes.
Mark Johnson.
Yes.
Jim Caston.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. All right. Up next, of course, is the collector well update. Things are progressing. The good news is today they are doing the cut-in of the power with Ameren UE that will energize everything at collector well 2. So before we can start pumping water out of the ground, we have to have the electricity to make it all work. So today's kind of a big milestone day. And Jeff, anything you wanted to add to that?
No, I was down there this morning and everything's going on schedule. They get that tie in today. I did talk to the engineer earlier this week that's on site down there, and it's looking like the week of September 4th is when they're gonna get Durkin down there, have crews down doing the VFDs and all that. And it won't be very long after that, we'll be up and running. So we're right in
I
there.
thought we were getting it in August. In September.
Well, they said that they kept saying the end of August, early September, so they're right there, but
Yeah, I think
a big project like that, if they come within a week,
yeah,
that's pretty darn good.
with the number of supply chain issues, having
Don't give me the supplies. They've had a year to order.
and you know what, there are things they ordered a year ago they're still waiting on. Believe it or not, we're having a hard time getting door seals.
I think they waited too long.
Okay, well, fair enough. Any other questions on the collector well? If not, we'll move on to new business. We'd invited representatives from Suez, or they had requested to be here. Also from Subsurface Technologies, they're not here. That was a tentative item under new business. Tony Becker from Custom Insurance is not with us this evening.
Yeah,
I should say this morning.
I emailed Tony yesterday because I asked him if he had any paper, unless this is, no, that's not him. Unless to give me some paperwork to give to you guys as the directors before he arrived. I didn't receive any email from him, so I'm not sure what's going on.
Okay, well, we'll move on past that. Our CD investments, that's for information only. We have a staff report for RFP auditing services. Also staff report on the proposed budget. So we'll start with the RFP on the auditing services. We did receive one response, which was from Stop and Van Hoy. Michelle, would you like to share anything about that?
Well, Stop and Van Hoy is the current auditing firm that the city uses. And there's Tony Becker.
I was gonna say that was.
Well, we'll back up a little bit then.
Okay.
Since Mr. Becker is joining us, we had just jumped past you, sir, but if you'd like to step up to the microphone and share with us our renewal quote on liability insurance.
You guys are on the ball.
We don't mess around.
So I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is once you account for the value of the additional collector well, it's a 4% increase over last year, which is good because I have been advising most of our customers with significant property values to expect 10% increases. The bad news is you guys added $10 million in property values on $20 million existing. So it's in dollar terms, it's a significant increase. That's not me.
I don't think it's me.
Jim, is that your phone?
I don't know why nobody's supposed to be calling me on their phones.
Okay.
Anyway,
All right.
sorry.
Very good. Thank you.
That's the bat phone.
Tony, go ahead. Sorry.
So, last year, I believe the total premium was somewhere around 68,000. This year, it's going to be 107,442.
Oh, smokes.
And I did everything that I could to find another market. And unfortunately, the reality is that with some of the claims you guys have had in the last few years, you're running about 150% 3-year loss ratio. I couldn't get anybody else to bite on it. I'm sorry.
That's still with Continental Western?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will say this, that because of the claims that we've had, we've been very pleased with the representation they have provided with us. And any of the claims that we've had to settle has been handled professionally
Good.
and very well. So I have no qualms with Continental Western, and obviously us adding a sizable asset.
Right.
The fact that it's only going up a small amount is certainly.
Well, I mean, the rates are reasonable. The dollar amount is high, but.
Sure.
And then the actual invoice that I'm presenting is a little bit more than that. The invoice is 108,198 because we added on the collector well prior to the end of the 22 to 23 term.
Mhm.
So there's about a $700 charge for that.
Okay.
I don't know exactly when that came online, but we added it a couple of weeks ago. So
Well, most of the asset is there and it's not online just yet. But it will be here shortly. So that's the good news. We're going to need something to cover it until the end of September. That's for sure. Michelle, how would you like to handle it?
I would like to, if you guys are okay with it, since he's presenting an invoice, I'd like to go ahead and get an approval to approve that amount to be released today.
Okay.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to pay the insurance premium as presented here. Could I have a roll call, please?
Greg Camp,
Aye.
Matt Unrein,
Aye.
Kevin Dennis,
Yes.
Harry Thomas,
Yes.
Mark Johnson,
Yes.
Jim Caston.
Yes, ma'am.
And we'll be sure for the directors that are joining us here online today to circulate a copy of
Yep.
The invoice for their review following the conclusion of the meeting. Kevin or Jim, if you have any questions afterwards, Michelle will be shooting that out to you here via email in just a little while.
Sure, no problem.
So I have copies of the updated deck page with the premiums and the property values for each location if you want to hand those out. Put it in the record if nothing else.
Tony, have you heard back on the earthquake policy?
No, I have not, but I would expect similar, roughly a third more this year up to half, since you are increasing those property values the same.
Okay. Now we won't meet until the middle part of September. Can I get a motion maybe to go ahead and approve that prior to us getting the renewal, or can we wait until the next meeting to release the check?
You can wait till the next meeting to release the check, but I'll need to send a bind request.
We can get it bound
As soon as
and
we-
then make the payment following our September meeting.
Yeah,
Okay.
But if somebody as soon as I have that, I'll email it to you.
okay,
And then if I can just get an email back that says, yes, please bind it. And then
Okay.
if the check takes 30 days, that's no big deal.
okay.
Very good. All right. Any questions for Mr. Becker?
Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Tony. Appreciate it. All right.
My hope is that next year, I believe that lightning claim is from 2 years ago. Once that lightning claim is 3 years old, the opportunities for some finding and lower priced carrier should open up, but I don't know if the rest of you have dealt with this in your other municipal insurance programs, but property insurance markets this year are crazy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No doubt.
Right,
All right,
thanks.
very good. Thank you.
You guys, would you like me to hang around for any questions or
I do have another question.
shoot?
So the invoice totals 107,442, but where's the $700 charge?
I thought,
Oh, okay, thank you.
There it is.
Okay,
Okay.
there it is.
You good, Michelle?
yes,
All
I
right,
do.
Very good. No one has anything else for Tony?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tony.
This
Appreciate
is
it.
the original policy that was issued before we added the collector well, and this is the endorsement. And I'll leave this for your reading pleasure unless you just want me to.
Can you send it to me
want- just want the
electronically?
PDF?
Yes, please.
Okay.
That would be perfect. Thank you.
I don't know why Lynn prints this stuff out and gives it to me because I figured that's what you.
Now, would it, yeah, I'm gonna need that electronically anyway, because I have to send it to UMB Bank, the trustees. And will it have our certificates, the vehicle
cities.
certificates
Yes,
in there, in that
Actually,
packet?
that is in here somewhere.
Yeah,
I
mine,
think.
we just should keep that, so you don't have to print that out.
Okay, I'll go ahead and keep it, but if you can also send it to me electronically,
Yeah.
that would be great.
Yep.
And Jeff, did you want to say anything about this last, you had talked about maybe possibly turning that into insurance?
It's not gonna be as bad a hit on us as what we originally had planned on, so we'll be able to take care of it in-house. We won't have to do another claim.
My only question would be the city lost, well, you lost contractual obligations. You guys couldn't supply water to them. So is that something you guys want to pursue?
Well, the plant was offline for what, 5 days?
It ended up being 10 days.
10 days.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, we want to, if we want the insurance to cover it. That's Herky's stance anyway.
And certainly we would probably want to join in a claim on lost water.
Why wouldn't we just say that next year's obligation is less, net that difference?
Well, this is through the insurance company.
So, Matt, this was,
I know.
Matt, I think this was done prior to your arrival, but we actually, what did we change when you guys,
Policy.
the agreement between the cities and the water authority that was reworded such that if there is a compensable business income loss, then that income still comes to the water authority without the city. Basically, it saves the cities from having to pay for those days.
Like business interruption insurance.
Right,
Yes.
exactly.
Previously, because the cities were obligated to pay regardless of whether the water authority was supplying water or not, there was no trigger for the coverage because there was no loss in revenue to the water authority. So that's why that rewording took place. And I think the intent was for that to happen if it was a longer outage, maybe.
I can't remember that original claim that we had, how long we were disrupted. Was it like 30 days or?
It was a while.
It was a while. Is that something, I mean, it sounds like Herculaneum wants to pursue it. What would you need from us?
I'm happy to turn it in. My concern would be, I don't want to add something to the list of claims that makes it more difficult to remarket you next year.
Can we get a value?
Yeah,
Let's get a valuation on
Okay.
what the loss is.
right.
Yeah.
Okay,
And the split between the two cities
okay.
to determine
If
what that
it's-
amount is and if we still want to pursue it. Jim, is that acceptable?
Sure,
Okay.
we're using the 480,000 for us and the whatever for you guys, right?
So
7
we'll
million.
calculate it based on a 10-day interruption and have something that will circulate following the meeting.
Okay, just let me know what that dollar value would be and then give me some advice. I'll give you some advice on whether I think it would be a good idea to turn it in or not.
Excellent.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay.
All right,
Thank you.
Very good.
thanks.
All right.
Thanks, Tony.
Yep, see ya.
All right. Jumping back down, we did receive the one audit response for services for Stop and Van Hoy. with a proposal of 11.5 for 23, 24 and 25. And then 12,000 for 26 and 27. And if we did have to do a single audit, it would cost $3,000. The recommendation from staff is to accept the proposal. Any questions?
No. We've been using Sickich.
Sickich.
And I was actually surprised that I kept reaching out to her. She said she was sent the invitation for bid. Hadn't heard from her, emailed her several occasions. And then finally, when we're down to the wire, she says, I'm not going to be able to bid. Keep me posted for future RFPs. I didn't ask why. And I know there's a lot of auditing firms that are having a hard time filling positions. So we're thankful that Stop and Van Hoy bid, even though it was significantly higher than what we are used to paying. Typically the first year or two, though, you're going to have a high auditing fees because they have to come in and research your revenue bonds and your policies and internal controls. And so it's going to be some work for them for the first 2 or 3 years at least.
They're the auditor for the city of Festus, and they do an excellent job. So I have no qualms going with Stop and Van Hoy. And unfortunately, Sickich, which used to be Hochschild Bloom, Tammy Alsop and their crew, they've been wonderful. But since they were taken over by Sickich, they've been kind of moving away from this type of work. So I would entertain a motion to accept the bid for auditing services from Stop and Van Hoy.
Second,
Who was the second?
Is there a second?
Jim.
Oh,
Jim's a
okay.
second. Can I roll call, please?
Greg Camp,
Aye.
Matt Unrein,
Aye.
Kevin Dennis,
Yes.
Terry Thomas,
Yes.
Mark Johnson,
Yes.
Jim Caston.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, next on the agenda, we have a staff report for the proposed budget. This is for fiscal 23-24. There's a staff report in there, a pretty comprehensive one. The one thing that I would point out, we did have an estimate we were working on the rehab for collector well number 1. Michelle has since plugged in an updated number. The number we originally had, what's in the report here, is 200,000. The estimate that we got back from Lane Christensen after they had a chance to review our operation, it's actually closer to $450,000. Obviously, this is something we will be putting out for bid, but as a placeholder in the budget, we wanted to base it off of a relatively current number. So based on the numbers that are in the proposed proposal here in the staff report here, that number on page 2, where it says collector well rehab, is not 200,000, it's 450,000. Questions on the proposed budget for fiscal year 23-24?
No, sir.
Michelle, I assume we'll come back with a resolution to approve this.
If nobody has any questions, 5% increase, increasing the 401k from 2,500 to 3,500. The health insurance would then be from 400 to 500. That helps the dependents. And then increase in city services is 5% based on the 5% inflation rate. And then we added 20,000 for the proposed annual well cleaning data review, which may or may not happen. And we're keeping the wholesale water rate still at $4.90, so that we can build back our reserves to pay for a $2 million concrete storage tank in year 27-28.
You said that the employee rate increase was 5%. Is that right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Last year they got 8%, this year
Okay.
5%.
Does that keep their wage commensurate with the other fellows in their field? Okay. Well, I think some of our recent successes tantamount to our support of our employees. So I think we need to continue that. And I make a motion that we approve the
Well-
budget as submitted.
Well, we will need to do that by resolution and we'll do that at our September meeting.
Hot diggity no.
But if you do have any questions or concerns about the staff report or the budget as it's presented here, please take some time to review it, get in touch with Michelle. But again, it is a very operator friendly budget. We want to, obviously, as you said, the successes we've had of late have been solely because of the hard work of the people that work for us at the plant, and it moves the needle on benefits and salaries in a positive direction across the board. So I think if we're in a position to take better care of our people, we certainly want to do that. And this budget reflects that. If there aren't any questions on that, then we'll have that come back for adoption at our September meeting. What we do have here on the agenda is a resolution, though, to amend the current fiscal year budget. It's resolution 2023-48. Would someone like to introduce that for its first reading in it by title only?
I'll make a motion.
A second? I'll second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Got an eye from Terry. He's got his hands full right now. Will the clerk please read the bill by title only, please? The resolution by title only, please.
Resolution of the Jefferson County Water Authority of Festus, Missouri, amending the 2022 through 2023 fiscal year budget and establishing an effective date.
We have any discussion? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adopt.
So move.
Motions and seconds. Roll call, please.
Greg Camp,
Aye.
Matt Unrein.
Aye.
Kevin Dennis,
Yes.
Harry Thomas,
Yes.
Mark Johnson.
Yes.
Jim Caston.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Item 9 on the agenda are our reports. The trial balance, cash ledger, or general ledger cash activity, revenue and expenditure report in there. The plant manager report, you've got 2 months worth in there for review. And if there's any questions for Jeff at this time, this would be the time for it. Otherwise, any comments or questions from the board of directors? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. Gentlemen, thank you all. We'll see you next
Thanks,
month.
Greg.